In this video, we listed the 5 best pop-up tents that are available on the market for their true quality. Actually, I tried to make the list based on their popularity, quality, price, durability, user opinions and more. If you need more information about these products, please check the description section below and don't forget to subscribe to our channel to get future reviews. It's done, let's dive into the video. Number 1. Abco Tech Pop-Up Tent. The Abco Tech Pop-Up Tent is a good value for anyone looking for a lightweight, instant setup, under 2 seconds instant, and budget-friendly option. Perhaps you aren't 100% sold on pop-up tents yet, and you want to snag a low-commitment cheap one for an upcoming beach trip. It's also great as a kid's first tent and for backyard camping. Get the kiddos into nature with their very own outdoors fort. And once again, because it goes for such an attractive price, you can rest easy even if it does get beat up. The Abco Tech Pop-Up is perfect for beach trips. With its lightning-fast setup and meager weight, it's ideal for throwing in a car, or strapping to a bike, if you can figure out how, and hitting the sand. This tent gives you a 7 by 4 foot floor plan, which is more than enough room for one. But it might be tight for two. Remember though, that for a tent of this weight and price, it's not too surprising that you're going to be trading away some living space. One of the larger downsides is that people say it doesn't do so well in the rain. No available waterproof specs coupled with chintzy and leaky zippers means that it's best to use the Abco in good conditions. Number 2. LENCE Instant Pop-Up Tent. If you need a do-it-all tent for fair weather camping with your buddies, check out the LENCE Instant Pop-Up Tent for 2 to 5 person. It could be considered light enough for hikers. Yet with its nearly 10 by 10 foot floor plan, it's comfortable enough for spending time inside. As far as setup goes, it's straightforward right out of the box. In fact, most people don't even bother with the instructions. Regarding construction, the polyester fabrics feel durable and hardy. The zippers are worth mentioning too. Unlike a lot of tents I've come across, multiple users have praised the smooth action of zipping the windows shut. No more snagging zippers in fabric. The windows and door are covered with both mesh and a fabric panel that zips closed during bad weather if needed. A downside to this is that if everything is zipped up, there's little ventilation inside. Of course, you can always just leave the windows open. This shouldn't be a huge issue if you're not camping in crazy weather. But stray too far outside of that temperature sweet spot, and you'll probably get stuffy inside. Number 3. Coleman 4-Person Pop-Up Tent. If you're in the market for a basic, beginner-friendly, no-nonsense tent, then have a look at the Coleman 4-Person Pop-Up Tent. At first glance, this tent struck me as nothing special. But looks can be deceiving. Inside, there's more space than it looks. The 9 by 6 foot floor provides enough room for a queen-sized bed. However, you probably don't want to stick 4 people in here. 2 or 3 would ensure there's room to spare for your gear. Weighing 7 pounds, it's a perfectly manageable weight for most trips. But like most pop-up tents, it folds down into a large disc, so it won't fit in a backpack. I was impressed at its true freestanding nature. If the weather is mild, you can ditch the stakes for an even easier setup. For bad weather, this tent is equipped with taped seams that have the added bonus of being inverted. This helps prevent water from leaking in, since the vulnerable seam faces inward, rather than the exposed exterior. The rainfly is optional, which is awesome for a pop-up tent. Not only does this provide an extra layer of protection in the rain, but it helps with ventilation too. The 2 mesh windows have room to allow air to pass through and out the fly, meaning you won't feel stuffy even with the fly on. That said, it might be wise to bring a footprint along for the floor. With its 68D fabric, it's a little delicate. Users have even said it feels thinner to the touch. One of the biggest and universal flaws of the Coleman 4-Person is its zipper. Due to the tension exerted on the tent, especially when it's staked out, the zipper is difficult to unlatch. Don't worry too much, apparently, ditching the stakes helps. Number 4. LINGYANG 6-person pop-up tent. The LINGYANG 6-person pop-up tent is a solid option for smaller groups of campers who want a workhorse tent suitable for most functions. First, let's address the elephant in the room. Although it's advertised as a 6-person tent, most people resoundingly disagree on that point. It's suitable for 3 or 4 people at most. But on to some good news. At first, I was worried about ventilation because the inner tent is made of the same 190T polyester as the attached rain fly. However, my fears were put to rest when I noticed the multiple ground vents and back wall vents. The best part is they all function even when the tent is closed up during inclement weather. It has impressive waterproof stats, PU-coated fabric, and taped seams. It's earned these ratings too. This tent withstood a tropical storm, including sustained 20+ mph winds and gusts of 55 mph. Some professional photographers and tour guides even used this tent as their outdoor office, and happily sat inside while the storms raged. Only the tiniest bits of water managed to sneak in, and then only at the very edges. This is most likely caused by the subpar window closures, which can flap around in heavy wind. Adding extra Velcro would likely fix this. For those of you who can't bear to be without a device, the LINGYANG is electronic friendly. If you're at a campground offering amenities like external power, you can run a charging cord into your tent through the dedicated cord port. Number 5. Gazelle GT400 GRT for shelter. This unconventional tent may look funny, but guess what? It serves a purpose. It's performed well in extreme weather. One camper even took it out in the desert during the winter. The tent was subjected to 70 mph winds but stood fast. This surprised me, as it's extremely uncommon for cabin tents, whose vertical walls tend to catch the wind. During setup, the walls pop out by pulling on handles attached to each wall. It's likely that this contributes significantly to the wind resistance. Speaking of setup, it was reported to be quick and easy. Simply take it out of its case and extend the poles to their proper height. Then pop out the walls, and presto! Instant tent. With 8 by 8 feet of space, that's plenty for groups under 4. This tent is rated for 4 people, but multiple users have complained that the manufacturer overestimates the size. One nice thing is that you don't need guy lines. As such, you can technically get away without stakes either, but it's considered good practice to stake it anyway. The tent floor is removable, which I thought was an interesting construction decision. Yes, it means you can clean it easily, or convert this tent to a shady canopy. But the downside is that bugs can get in easier. So if you're the type who hates bugs, maybe look at a different model.